Yeah. Oh, but it is interesting. People are weird like that. Like we can adapt to anything. We can just like, oh yeah, like throw us in this situation. Like, oh yeah, this is what it is. Like,
Not everybody can adapt.
oh yeah. I mean,
There's a select group that can adapt. Everyone has to adapt to them.
Everyone has the capacity to adapt. I'll say that. That's a little nicer.
Going back to Dave, I like how no one's talking about how his friend murdered or killed herself because of bullying.
Yeah.
Or at least what is
might
perceived to be bullying.
Yeah. And like I think her like she just sounded like a beautiful person. Like they're like laughing at all his jokes and then he said something.
Well, a trans black woman was on, was it CNN or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think she might have been a comedian as well. Mm-hmm. Like this was within the last couple of days.
Okay.
Because of all this controversy, and then she was saying like no, like you're a comedian, like I'm a comedian first. It's like this is what comedians do. Like
Take shots at
I mean, Dave even said it's like obviously like y'all can't all are understanding what I'm saying. So like that's why he said like I'm not gonna say this anymore.
Right.
Any of these trans jokes because people aren't understand. Like these are jokes.
And even at because he said one, and then he's just like, well, that's something that she would have laughed at, and like, and you don't like, you're just not in that world. Like you're just like that's something like he made a.
And
joke
then people.
About like her.
People are taking too literally his TERF statement.
What was his TERF statement again? Like I remember.
Well, because they called J.K. Rowling a TERF, and then he was like.
Oh, she's right.
And then he was like, if that's what that is, then call me Team TERF. Like So
because he's like, as we've already established, I'm a feminist. I remember.
But he's that joke is saying that, if somebody comes out and says gender is a fact, and you call them a bigot and give them this bigoted title name to try and shame them, then I guess that's what I am, because that doesn't seem to be too controversial.
Right.
Call me Team TERF.
Yeah.
That's what that joke is, and everybody's missing it. They're like,
because that's the same dynamic with critical race theory. Either you're racist or you're anti-racist. So it's like either you fully accept who I am and call me the way that I want to be called, or you hate my people and you're terrified of being around me, and you're like the same.
Nobody knows who you are.
Right, until you identify yourself, until you let people know.
It's not. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like society as a whole. Like there are probably people in entire states who might not even know who the fuck a non-binary person is.
I didn't know what a TERF was, and I'm still like, oh yeah, that's a trans. Like a radical.
The vast majority of Latinos don't know what LatinX means.
I hate that term.
But yet it's an identifying term.
I hate that term.
That's the problem, is that these people...
that's, again, surface level. Like, I would hate for them to... People who say Latinx, I even know there's some Hispanics that say Latinx, like, in order to be, like,
because they're already indoctrinated, because, again, they're coming from college.
Yeah, but
this isn't somebody that, like, crossed the border from Mexico and is trying to... illegally, and then is trying to make a life, and it's like, oh no, you didn't call me Latinx. Like they're not thinking like that because they don't even know what that is.
Yeah. Like I love John Leguizamo.
That's a liberal.
He talks about Latinx all the time, but it's so stupid because Latinx.
Well, he's leaning in because he probably needs a job.
The royalties from those little movies aren't doing it. Those obscure scenes.
Well, he threw a fit because the new. Now, this is a live action, so it's animated.
Okay.
Mario Brothers movie.
Oh.
He was saying that I'm ashamed that, or I'm disappointed that there's no Latinx people. And then like all the people that... So I follow some YouTubers that are like big in like the comic book stuff and like will review the movies and everything like that. Mm-hmm. So they were like saying like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? It's like, somebody really needs to tell him that even though you were in that movie, it's about Italians. It's about white people.
Yeah.
In fact, if there is a character, they were like joking around saying like, in fact, any character who isn't white European shouldn't be in that.
That's funny, man. Yeah, but it's like, Spanish is a language that's based on like a lot of the words are associated
Well, it's a
with
gender
masculine or feminine. So it's like if you're gonna call them people Latinx as opposed to Latino or Latina, it's like, well, what are you gonna call like?
Well,
If you understand the language,
the
and you're
problem
like,
is
wow, you say la mesa instead of el mesa. That's pretty. You're assuming that table is feminine. Why? Because it's near the kitchen. You like where the does it
That's
stop?
a good one.
Like what? Like the whole language is like that. Everything is associated with feminine. Where is it gonna
well,
stop?
that's because they're trying to normalize something that isn't normal.
Yeah.
And then they attack somebody saying that something isn't normal as equating it to being bad or evil.
Yeah.
Where it's like being emo isn't normal.
Mm.
It's not, it wasn't really normal for me. It wasn't normal for me at 18 years old to be wearing jeans that 12-year-old girls would wear with a studded belt.
Yeah.
It wasn't normal.
Yeah. Unless you're a rock star. Then it's like,
no, but that's not normal.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Like every day.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
going to death metal concerts where there's guys screaming and incoherently talking about how they worship Satan.
Yeah.
No, that's not normal.
Yeah.
You know what it also is? It's just music of people getting together and having a good time and fucking rocking out in a way that they feel like they're a part of something because they don't feel like they're normal.
Right, yeah.
But then these
like
groups that are coming out now, everybody wants to be normal, right? Like,
I like that. Yeah.
right? Black people can't just be their own unique self. They need society and all of media to be catered to them so that they're a part of it. And instead, that comes off to me as like, so you want whiteness to accept you.
Right.
Like, you don't even want your own individuality.